Welcome to This Week in Guns, a podcast that covers the latest firearms industry news, information, and buzz. Brought to you by the Firearms Radio Network. I'm your host, Jake Challen from Gun Guy Radio. Brown Owls helps make this show possible. Selection, service, satisfaction. Find it all at Brown Owls. Please visit our affiliate link at thisweekinguns.com/Brown Owls before you shop next time, or you can click any of the web banners there as well. And we have a couple of great panelists with us returning. Peter Palma, Marine sniper, top shot contestant, inventor of MS Clean, and former plumber. Hey, Peter.
Hey, what's going on? I still plumb from time to time.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were you plumbing a boat today? What were you doing?
Yeah, I was. I was fixing up my friend's boat. We're putting lights and stuff. I'm a little bit of an electrician too. I just do everything where there's money.
Nice. So we also have Nick Handgun Newbie from Practically Tactical on the line. Is that what they say now? On the show. Hey, Nick.
Hey, how's it going?
So going great. We have a few announcements here. We're looking for help with the Guns of Hollywood podcast that we're launching. We did the pilot last week on Gun Guy Radio. And we're looking for some co-hosts. So if you're interested in occasionally helping out, maybe talking about guns in your favorite movie, shoot me an email, jake@firearmsradio.tv. And also, you can now contribute to to This Week in Guns or the Firearms Radio Network by shopping Amazon. That's right. We now have an Amazon affiliate link on any of the banners on the website. So just click through there next time you shop, and I really appreciate it. So lots of stories this evening. We have the first one, Walter R. Walsh dies at 106. And you may ask, who is Walter R. Walsh? Well,
everybody who knew him had already died, so that's why nobody knows him now.
It's true.
Totally. Well, he was an FBI legend. He had shootouts with gangsters. He was an Olympic competitor. He trained generations of Marine Corps snipers or sharpshooters, and did many other things too. Pretty cool dude from all accounts. This was back in the age of gangsters. Dillinger, Bonnie and Clyde, and so on. And yeah, just amazing people from this era are still around, and this guy was kicking butt, long after that. Pretty amazing dude.
This guy is a man. I mean, for those that you got to read the story on this guy. He dual wielded, and apparently with a 45 and a 357 Magnum, and in one gunfight with gangsters, he got shot 3 times, and still kept on going. This guy was a man. I mean, then a Marine and
then he joined the Marines in World War II, which was horrible because he was in the Pacific.
Oh, and he requested to go to combat, right? Because he was training sharpshooters over here, and then he requested to be deployed. So yeah, I mean,
and that's really, like I've said in the past, one of the best. Like, sometimes people join the military, and more or less you're a conscript. A lot of people, either when they join the military, they're just like, they haven't ever shot, or they just shot like cans in the backyard or hunted or whatever. They don't have any real training necessarily. Just because you hunt doesn't necessarily make you a good shooter, and vice versa. So, if you were if you sort of a competition shooter beforehand and then were to join the military, that would be a force to be reckoned with right there.
Right, because he started shooting competition, and he joined the New Jersey National Guard in 1928 and won a spot on its rifle team. And then he started shooting matches at Camp Perry. And dang, I think he shot Camp Perry for 6 decades, 7 decades or something crazy like that. Just insane. And he shot at the Olympic Summer Games in 1948. He won in 1952. He won gold and silver medals. It blows me away. It says in his 90s he was still training an Olympic marksman, I think. Yeah. You're still coaching Olympic marksman in his 90s.
Wow. This dude did a lot. As far as shooting goes, he's pretty. It'd be hard pressed to get a better resume than that.
It says here in World War II, he killed a sniper from 80 yards away with his pistol in one shot.
It could be done. Yeah, that's believable. You can do that.
Yeah, with a rickety old 1911 from World War II.
Yeah. Huh.
Pretty impressive. But yeah, check it out. It's an article I have linked in the show notes. It's on the New York Times. But pretty amazing dude. American patriot by all accounts. So let's move on to the 32 caliber Caselman. I think is how you pronounce it. Air powered machine gun. That's right, machine gun. It's a gun that shoots 30 caliber slugs in full auto, and it has about the same muzzle energy as a 32 ACP, but it's an air rifle. So apparently this was first designed by Jeff Caselman in the 80s, and then it kind of fell to the wayside, and no one made it, and then he sold the plans for it in like 1990 for like $20, an instructional video for it back then. But this, go ahead, Pete.
It looks like it uses a Thompson magazine.
Doesn't it? Yeah, it kind of looks like it.
Like, or maybe they use that for some way. It kind of, I probably supposed to look like a Thompson, but it looks like it's an actual magazine by it, at least.
Yeah, it's kind of set up like a Thompson. It's got that same Thompson 4 grip and profile and everything. And this one, though, it doesn't run. It looks like it was originally built to run off of like scuba tank pressures, which I think are between like 3,000 to 5,000 psi. But this one is actually made so you can just screw a paintball canister onto it, which runs at about 150 or so. So you get much less velocity, but it's much more portable, I imagine, than because if you had it, you'd have to hook it up to like a tether to do the scuba tank thing. Maybe a backpack.
Yeah, like in the Predator. Whoa!
But the cool thing about this is it's a machine gun. And it's not an FFL item,
Yeah.
Or NFA or anything,
Yeah, it's like a flamethrower. Like you have a flamethrower and it's not a gun. It's not firearms. So you'd be like, yeah, this is awesome. But
and this guy, what's his name? I can't find it right now. But this guy that made this one in the article, he basically machined all the parts for it, and he's got just a huge collection of photos of the different parts he machined and the whole process. It's really, if you're at all into building stuff or do-it-yourselfer type stuff, this is probably right up your alley.
Yeah, it like penetrates like what, a 1/4-inch wood piece, I think, in the pictures, and it digs up grass. So.
I'm not that completely impressed by it.
No.
I mean, but it's whatever. It's kind of an amalgamation. It's kind of neat somebody did what.
I mean, if you could take it and like put Nerf pellets in it, I would like that probably more. It's like something like, okay, maybe I could terrorize a person and not maybe hurt them, and it's automatic. That might be a little funner.
Hey, this could be like a less than lethal option, right? Shoot rubber bullets in it. So Maryland smart gun dealer changes his mind after getting some death threats. So Rockville gun store owner who said he would sell the nation's first smart gun even after that California store removed the weapon from its shelves, back down late Thursday night after enduring a day of protests and death threats. So the Washington Post has a full story on this, and I don't know. What do you think? Do you think what kind of people would be sending this guy death threats?
Stupid people. I mean, you're on the internet now, so it's like you could be a 14-year-old and not really know, and you're like, I doubt they mailed it, in a letter. They probably were like, oh, I'll kill you if you do this, or I'd like to know the actual threat itself, you know what I mean? Because it's kind of, it could be, that could be subjective to a point, but I don't know.
Right. I mean, yeah, you're right. And anything goes on the internet, and heck, Pete, when we have you on, you threaten to kill half the people we talk about. So
Yes, yeah, exactly. So, and I probably won't even do it either.
Well, and I think so. That's a little different story, though. From the guy's video, if I remember, I watched it, I think last week or so. He thought the place in California already sold some. So, from my understanding, he already thought, okay, well then I'm not that guy that starts this stuff.
See, I thought the store in California never even had them.
They didn't. They were going to, and then everybody pooped on them basically, and then they stopped. And from if I remember the video right, this guy was like, "Oh yeah, I thought they sold them, but then obviously I found out now that they didn't."
Right. I don't see what the big hubbub is about. Why people don't? I mean, I understand why people don't like the gun or whatever, but I don't see why. I mean, why it's such a big deal if somebody carries it or not. It's not like you're requiring anybody to have it. I just don't understand the big.
That's the part. Is New Jersey has law that once the first quote unquote smart gun is sold, then all guns after that need to be that way in New Jersey.
They have that?
And they passed that in like 2005 or 3 or something like 5, 8, 10 years ago or whatever. So that's the big deal. Is once one is sold, then New Jersey state law says, okay, all guns that need to be sold in New Jersey need to have that ability.
So why don't they just get somebody who's anti-gun to go sell one out of the store to somebody else who's anti-gun? That would be pretty simple. Maybe they won't. Hopefully they're not listening right now.
Well,
if you really wanted to, if that was true a law, I don't see how they could even write that in. But say that was true, what you said, then you could be anti-gun, set up a store, and I could buy it from you, and boom, it's done. So it's not like
it is. I mean, it is true because it's one of those articles that's like, hey, elections have consequences. That's kind of the big deal of the article from it. But you're exactly right, and hopefully they don't. But I think the interesting thing about the story is obviously the NRA was obviously against the gun and everything, but I think the devil's advocate part is, okay, are we only pro-gun of certain guns for people? So if there's people that actually would buy this gun, and we're saying no, you can't buy this gun, does that help? I think that's a really interesting aspect that people need to think about. Obviously, I don't want it to be sold because obviously I would feel really bad for New Jersey, and I would never want to be that guy. But I think it's one of those interesting story points of, okay, are we only pro-gun on certain guns? I don't know. It's kind of one of those interesting things, I think.
So, Love at First Shot. This is a new web series put out by the NRA Women, I don't know, flank, or what do you call it, section of the... what is this part of the NRA Freestyle?
That I don't know.
So it's NRA Women Presents, and it's sponsored by Smith & Wesson, and it's the Love at First Shots. It's hosted by Natalie Foster, who is one of the NRA commentators.
Yeah, NRAwomen.tv is the website.
Okay. So, yeah, and I'm kind of impressed with all the new media angles the NRA is trying to take a stab at lately, and it's
especially me, because nobody gives the NRA as hard time as I do. Well, I'm sure there are people that do, like the people that don't like guns at all. But I've always, even as a kid, been like, the stuff they're doing is super cheesy and super not effective. Even as a kid, I wasn't it wasn't effective for me. Like I wasn't excited to be in the NRA because the stuff they had out was not like the hats and stuff necessarily, which are kind of cheesy and stuff, but like the pamphlets and stuff they had were kind of what is this crap? You know what I mean? And their whole thing. So I've said that a lot recently, and from what I've seen at the show and this thing, I just watched a thing on Netflix, a TV show about girls and guns, and it just talked about the whole why so many girls are getting into guns right now, and they're marketing firearms to females like crazy right now, and so it's only natural that they have an outlet for them and embrace them like with everybody else. So it's great to see the NRA is jumping on that bandwagon too. So it's not just a bunch of fat old white dudes in fishing vests, beards. This is great. Look, I mean, these women here aren't like, super crazy looking either. You know what I mean? This could be any girl walking down the street, which is great. They didn't pick like one of those, I'm going to get killed for this, but like one of those gun bunnies. You know what I mean? That's like a super hot girl with guns, and they pick somebody that's, like that represents America. I think that's great.
I would agree on all points there. And I mean, for me, I actually sat and watched a large chunk of it, and I was entertained for quite a while. I mean, it was good. It's done well, and obviously it's geared towards women. But I would say it was really good, especially for the women that maybe are just getting into shooting or thinking about it. I would say it's an awesome first step in regards to the NRA and women. But you were said it. We were both at the NRA annual meetings. They're doing an excellent job on definitely reaching out to the not old fat white guy with the fishing vest. But I did see a lot of fishing vests there.
Yeah. I mean, they have nowhere else to go, so they're stuck. And the worst is when you hear people like when something that doesn't happen, and even they're adults, they'll be like, "Well, I'm never gonna buy from that company again." They're like, "I'm never going to Starbucks ever again," or whatever it is. It's like, I'm taking my toys and I'm going home. It's like, no, you're not. Just don't be an idiot. People are gonna have different views. Like I still talk to people that like 1911s, even though I think they're dumb. You know what I mean? It's like you can coexist on the planet. Have different views about certain stuff.
So it looks like they're tiering all of this under the NRA network, and so that includes NRA.org, NRA ILA, which we're familiar with those, NRA News, which I think has Cam and Company under it, and then NRA LifeOfDuty.tv, which is, I think that one's sponsored by Brownells, and then NRA Women, Ring of Freedom, I haven't heard of that one, and then the NRA Freestyle. So,
I will say NRA Life of Duty is awesome, especially when they covered the, now I can't even remember the name of it, but it featured one of my buddies in it.
Way to go.
I can't even remember what the name of it was. Blew it. Totally blew it.
So, Oklahoma House votes to override the governor's veto of cell sign by the seashore legislation. So this you might think this has to do with concealed carry, but no, this has to do with NFA items like silencers, suppressors, and the governor vetoed this. But I think it's pretty cool that you see the Senate pushing this through, overriding the veto, and now Cleos have 15 days. They have to approve short-barreled rifles, shotguns, and suppressors. So that's a pretty cool win.
But no full autos.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see anything about full autos.
It's whatever. You can really only get them anyways if they're grandfathered and they're super expensive.
Yeah.
So.
On here, though, I'd like to point out, it's not like it was like a near 50 or they barely got enough to do the override. We're talking it was 83-3. I mean, it was overwhelming, and that's awesome to see nowadays.
Well, it's in Oklahoma, too, so.
I know. I mean, if Oklahoma wasn't a wasteland, I would be.
Yeah, there's not much there.
Oh, that's the worst state to drive through. I'm sorry, people.
No, dude, Kansas is worse than that.
No. Oklahoma.
No, I've driven through both of them. I'm telling you, Kansas.
So have I.
This is corn for 5-10 hours.
Hey,
Oklahoma's red dirt.
Come to Illinois. So, Sharp's Relia-Bolt fires 7,500 rounds jam-free in an independent test. Are you guys familiar with the Sharp's Rifle Company? I stumbled upon these guys at NRA show.
Well, I know the Sharp's Rifle from way back in the day, like Quigley Down Under.
No, this is completely different. They have an AR-15. They have a proprietary new round, which I can't think of it off the top of my head. They have a new round out too, but they have this Relia-Bolt that has kind of tapered edges or chamfered edges on the teeth of the bolt, or whatever you call them,
Lugs.
on the lugs, and so supposedly it's supposed to be much more reliable. Which I don't know. Is this something, looking for a problem or a solution for a problem that doesn't exist?
Well, I know there is the AR-15 bolt's not the greatest thing in the world. Like the extractor is kind of weak. It doesn't really grip sometimes what it needs to do. And those lugs have sheared off before on ones that aren't of like really great quality. I see that happening. I've also seen it break, like where the I guess they have issues. Anything mechanical is going to break. I don't care if you have a Glock or a 1911, whatever it is, it's going to break it eventually. But I mean, if something does break, then you.
So where did you see them have issues at? Was that overseas, or is that just at ranges here in the U.S.?
I've seen. I mean, obviously, not overseas because we usually get pretty new rifles there. But like in the armory, like if you got old rifles, things eventually will start breaking on them. You know what I mean? But when you go deploy overseas, your rifles are pretty new, so they're not going to give you that kind of crap. But like sometimes if your unit's old, or like if you're pulling old ones out of there in boot camp, you see a bunch of ones go like that and they'll wear down and stuff like that. So yeah, I've seen and I've seen personal ones break too, like because that's really where the quality control, it could be made by anybody. So especially when you get these Frankenstein guns. My buddy had I was the LWRC even when one of those broke. So I mean, nothing's unbreakable.
Right.
So, but yeah, right. It's definitely not the best engineered part. So.
And I think something we saw here in the last AR-15 run was that everyone and their brother started making AR-15 parts. People that had never made them before. So.
And that's going to be a scary thing in the future.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not related, but there was such a run on these guns. People were throwing them out there. Even companies who are supposed to have good quality are just trying to get them out as fast as possible to sell them. And it's kind of, and then there's going to be all these people who bolt lowers and Frankenstein these guns together. So for the next couple of years or whatever it is, if you buy a used gun that's an AR, you're like a crazy man, because who knows what you're going to get in there.
I don't know. I think it's a little overhyped. I mean, 7,500. Okay, that's a pretty decent amount. I mean, I went through 2,000-3,000 on my M&P 15, and I've never had anything go wrong with it. And I shoot the worst ammo,
Yeah.
And here's the thing is they did shoot 223 and not 556, and that is significant for the fact of the chamber pressure. So whether that plays a large role in bolt wear down, I don't know tremendously, but that was one thing that I would point out is it wasn't 556, but 75 rounds great.
If you have really good magazines and your firearms clean, that's not. I wouldn't be completely amazed if that happened.
No.
With any gun, you know what I mean?
No.
So
yeah,
I know my gun has about that many, but I've also had malfunctions and stuff, because I abused my rifle and stuff. So, but
totally. So let's move on to Jack in the Box. You guys like Jack in the Box?
Jack in the Box was the place to go to after bar back in the day.
See, I never had them locally here in my area, so they're a foreign concept to me.
I did in Texas. It was them or Whataburger.
Yeah, they're all right.
So, back on May 1st, there was... glad we have you on the show, Peter. There is some members of Open Carry Texas who entered a Jack in the Box carrying their rifles in plain sight. So the employees fled the service counter and locked themselves in the freezer, convinced they were being held up. The police were called, and more than 15 officers showed up on the scene. The Open Carry Texas members explained that they were carrying their rifles as an open carry movement, pushed for open carry rights in Texas. And because rifles can be legally carried openly in Texas, but handguns cannot. So after talking to the police, the concealed carry Texas members returned to Jack in the Box and posed for photographs with the employees.
See, that could be, so was there two different groups there?
Two different groups of employees, or?
No, because there was open carry and concealed carry. Am I confused here?
Maybe. No, you have that right. Members of open carry Texas entered the store.
Yeah.
And then at the bottom of the story, it's concealed carry Texas members.
Yeah. So like, there are two different groups fighting each other. I want to be on the concealed carry team because but I guess
that's a flub.
Open carry guys have rifles, so I don't know. That's kind of good too.
But yeah, this would be something you see in a comedy for sure.
Yeah, I'm glad somebody else, because I thought like me saying this, I would be the only one like in a sea of people like, oh, their guns are, just because like people are like exhibiting their gun rights. I assume that everybody who likes guns would like think it's a good idea, and that would be in like the vast minority of people who think that these people are complete idiots and they're doing more harm than they are good. But I know that there's other people there who actually don't necessarily speak to me, and I've seen it other ways. They're like, these guys are making it look bad for the rest of us. So I'm just glad I'm not alone on that.
Yeah, I
just like how they posed for pictures. That was the best part of the story.
And they came out of the freezer, and they're like,
I get some.
Well, and then I don't know if you saw, but the Moms Demand Action or whatever, they came out and they're petitioning Jack in the Box to ban all forms of carry. Too, so that was pretty cool. So yeah, next time you're going to Jack in the Box, you might want to think twice about carrying in your rifle.
Yeah, just I just wish they would go in places where they need it. You know what I mean? Like, go to deep downtown Detroit. Yeah. There's places we need rifles. All right, go there. So.
All I can think of is that one chick going crazy at McDonald's over chicken nuggets right now.
Oh my goodness, that's when you need it.
What, the one that stripped?
Or? Yeah. She was like freaking. She like pulled up in her car and she was like, "Rah! I want chicken nuggets!" And then the guy's like, "Oh man, we don't serve chicken nuggets." Like 10:30 in the morning. She's like, "You don't talk to me unless you talk to me about chicken nuggets." And she goes crazy. And he's like, "Ma'am, you have to calm down." She's like, "Rah!" Was like throwing stuff at him, and she's like, "Don't make me assume my ultimate form." And then he's like, "Whatever." And so she gets out of the car, and like they start fighting, and like he's trying to close like the window, and she's like hitting it, and like three people are trying to close it against her, and then she finally opens it, and like they have to. It's this battle. So eventually she's like breaking through the window and screaming and yelling all this insane stuff. And it makes sense if it were like 3 in the morning, like maybe she was up all day slamming heroin in one vein and PCP in the other, and decided she needed chicken nuggets. But it was like 10:30 in the morning. That was my favorite part about it.
Don't make me eat your face and in a gutter.
Yeah, she was like saying all this crazy stuff. So if I had a rifle there, I would definitely have been like, man, we got to shoot this lady. You know, he was getting violent. That's where they need to be. Maybe they were going to look for her. Who knows? They were going to, at least they weren't going to Jack in the Box. You probably need a rifle a little bit more in Jack in the Box than at the farmer's market. So they're working their way up to somewhere a little more braver. You keep going, open carry, Texas.
All right. Well, rumor of the day, Remington will be discontinuing the 2020 rifle line.
Thank God.
This is a rifle line based on the 700 that's got the tracking point doohickey mounted on top of it. And I think, what did it go for? Like
too much.
Too much?
I want to say they're like $7 or $10,000, weren't they?
Wasn't this more of the budget version that was like 5,000 or something?
I think they were 7 or 10, yeah.
From what I understand about it, is you would have the rifle and then you would like hit a button, ultimately like selecting your target. And then you would hold the trigger down, and then when your rifle was on the target, it would fire by itself. magically hitting the target, which in essence was giving you a surprise break without you like being in control of it. You couldn't jerk the trigger or anything like that. So ultimately, that's what it was taking out. So, I guess it would laze at the same time.
I thought that was only the military version of the tracking point. I thought all the civilian versions, you still had to pull the trigger manually.
I agree with that, Jake.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, well, because it'll do all your calculations for you. You basically paint your target, and then it'll tell you when you're on target and when you're.
So it changes different color or something like that.
Right. So your reticle or light up or something.
Either way, you have to like keep it all still to hit the target, right? So you have to like be stable to like select the target, and then like if you aren't trained enough to know not to jerk the trigger, and you're having this rifle pointed at some target, God forbid, right? So then you're supposed to be trained enough to figure out wind, because clearly it doesn't figure out wind for you.
It does.
How could it do that?
I'm sure it has stuff on it.
It has a wind button on the top of it.
It doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't work like that. Even if you had a Kestrel, that tells you where it is the wind where you're at now at that moment. You know what I mean? So what if the wind like changes, or like I don't know? I messed with it a little bit just as at the meeting when we went by it, or the NRA show, and it just seemed like eventually all that stuff I think will be cool or something, or like to help you out. But like even like a laser rangefinder isn't infallible. So like you may laser it and say it's 500 yards, but like if you don't know like the things that could trick the laser rangefinder, like if you have like a black target along a light background, it may not see that target and like lays the background of it. So it'll give you like an incorrect reading, or if you're doing it over liquid, sometimes that messes it up. So it's just like it's helping you to mostly be untrained. It's kind of like in the very beginning when they had Sidewinder missiles. Like, okay, you fly in a jet, you see the jet, you hit the button, and the missile takes it down. That's easy. When like the jet's flying straight and you're flying straight, and you're right behind it, it's not maneuvering, and you've launched the missile. Yeah, it works all the time. But like when you put in the real life scenarios, the thing would be utterly useless. But now eventually our technology has increased and those missiles are 10 times better. So like as far as to sell it, I think it was a bad move, and I'm glad that they dropped it.
Well, I mean they're on a roll with everything they make fails right now. So R51 fail, recall on the 700s, and now this. It's only been on the market for what? 6 months. Yeah. As usual, Freedom Group is on a roll with everybody they buy. It seems like
I just hope they don't
buy them, and they seem to be buying stuff, and then everything kind of just falls apart.
Well, I wonder how many of these they even got to market, in this short amount of time. Yeah, did they sell? I mean, a handful. So. You can stream it to your wireless device too, so
yeah, that's gonna work.
It's a big selling point, right?
Yeah.
We're to another defensive gun use of the day here. The truth about guns a few days ago. Atlanta carjacking target adapts, improvises, and survives. So a woman who got carjacked, a guy jumped in her car, and lo and behold, it had a manual transmission. And so
this is my favorite.
So he had to put his gun in his lap. Well, that's when the woman said she picked up the gun and tried to get out of the vehicle. He pulled her back in and hit her a couple times, and then that's when she shot him.
So
yeah. Bit. He also bit her.
He was screaming, "I'm already hurt. Don't make it any worse." Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
This is I mean, too bad she didn't have her own gun. But yeah, way to go. Take the bad guy's gun.
I love this article. The fact that it was like, here's what the anti-gunners are going to say.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So number one is with universal background checks, he wouldn't have had the gun.
Yeah.
2 is she had no business without either extensive training or a police or military background.
Yeah, we'll cover that one in the next story.
Yeah.
Right. He was such a nice boy, and he didn't deserve to be shot. Life is more important than property. Yeah, and it goes on. But, yeah, that's always entertaining to see a carjacker get shot with his own gun. So 23 police officers fire 377 bullets at 2 men with 0 guns. Now, first, when I saw the headline, I'm like,
that's a lot of numbers.
Shoot without any guns? Did they, like... Because I saw something about a police car catching on fire and rounds going off. I thought that's the story referred to, but no, this is an incident that took place a while. It was a while back, right? I totally lost my dates here. It was
the story says May 8th, but
I can't find another date.
I'm sorry. Anyway, so the police were after a guy who had shot
last
someone.
December.
Who, well, he had committed armed robbery. That's right. It's not a recent story. This is in the Atlantic. Atlantic.com. Yeah. So this guy, armed robbery. He had a gun at that time. They were looking for him all over the place, and he had shot a police officer hours earlier. And he was spotted in his automobile along with the passenger, and then chase ensued, and then he crashed his Volvo, and the cops had him cornered in, and then they opened fire on him, and it said approximately 50 rounds into the 2 men, and then they were yelling, hands up, and all that, and then they opened fire again. And there was an eyewitness there in an apartment building adjacent to the lot, and he said that he saw the guys trying to put their hands up, and then that's when they were shot again. And they're both DOA, right?
Yeah. And they didn't have it's really bad when you shoot somebody and they don't have a gun.
I mean, this reminds me of the California incident, although that was a little worse, where they shot the newspaper delivery women. Were not the black man they were looking for.
Yeah, at least this guy was killed a cop. So
yeah, definitely adrenaline's up. Someone that.
In this one, they could argue that potentially, because it wasn't like they were just hanging out and they saw him and they whacked him down. They were like in a car chase and they crashed their car. They roll up to it and. Whatever, the dude, maybe his round, he like touched the round off or thought he saw something. I'm just playing devil's advocate, and then they just went crazy. Once one person shoots, sometimes everybody just starts shooting for like whatever reason. I want to shoot too.
But I don't know. They were driving a Volvo. How many people do you know that rob banks that drive a Volvo?
It's probably stolen.
So two of the Miami-Dade police officers were hit as well because they were caught in the crossfire.
Jeez.
And
there wasn't crossfire. It was just regular fire. There was only because
So yeah, one was hit in the arm. Other one was or both were hit in the arm. Other one was hit in the head as well. It grazed his head.
Jeez.
So dang, they almost killed. I mean, what? That would have sucked, huh? Killed another officer by friendly fire. I don't know. Seems like this is another instance of that. Who knows what was going on? We weren't there, but it seems like maybe some more training might be required.
It says the incident is still under investigation.
Right. So I'm curious how this hammers out, but I'm not going to pass any judgment because.
Yeah.
Don't know, weren't there, but pretty crazy incident for sure. So
I don't know how. I mean, in some ways, yeah, I can understand. Like cops are like, you're like, man, how could they shoot these people, like the ladies, by accident and stuff like that? Like the accidental shootings that were like when they shot the Tosh Bueno guy. I can see like how can they do that? But what I can't understand how they don't shoot some other people. Like if I went to a house and I knew there was like a 4-year-old little girl being like molested or something like that, it would take everything that I had not to just blow that dude's brains out right then and there. You have to like be nice to him even. You have to like make sure you can't just like throw him in the back of a cop car or tase him. You can't do any of that stuff that you'd want to do, like put him in a wood chipper. Any of the things you want to do, you can't. You have to be like treat him as nice as if he's like a real person, you know? So
Right.
I don't want to say if they're gonna go around shoot people that don't have guns, shoot those dudes. You know what I mean? If you're gonna go shoot people that don't have guns and get in trouble for it, at least do it to the child molesters.
Pass a law to allow us to put child molesters and wood chippers. I'd be proud of that.
Oh my goodness! I would make a giant blender out of like a. I would just make a huge blender out of like I don't know something they put milk in and a V8 engine.
Do you guys remember? This is gonna go back a ways on the internet days. There used to be a website that had like a frog in a blender. Do you guys remember that at all?
No.
Oh, I'd be for that.
A frog
as well. No, they use the same type of deal on pedophiles.
Oh yeah. I want to do my own To Catch a Predator show, but it would have a wood chipper in it. I'd be like, oh man, hey, you're here for what? Okay, check out this wood chipper.
Coming soon on the Firearms Radio Network.
Yeah, that would be great. It would just the audio would be even worse if you didn't have any visual. I think it would be worse than the visual.
Awesome.
Like imagine, oh, never mind. A dude's foot putting in a wood chipper. The sound of the wood chipper in his foot, and then him screaming, and me laughing at him while he's. Anyway, how do we get on that subject? Let's go to the next story.
So okay, we'll tackle some of these extra stories. We have a little bit of time. So I thought this was interesting that Centerfire Systems was selling some 22 ammo, some bricks of 22 from Arms Corps, and apparently they had some flare guns and some ultra mounts that they wanted to get rid of because they did a package deal where you got a Polish 26 millimeter flare pistol, and then you got an ultra mount with integral 1-inch rings, which I don't know, it's just a goofy, stupid scope mount.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah, so two things that people weren't buying, and why not package it with some 22 ammo?
That's what he wants, yeah. For $100, and it's sold out, not available for back orders.
It was sold out in like just a matter of, I don't know, minutes or hours, because I saw it pretty soon after it went up, and then it was gone.
I should start selling my MS Clean kits with 22 that I have a whole bunch of 22 that I don't really ever shoot. Yeah,
oh my God. You would sell a ton of those things.
122 round per. No, yeah, that's crazy. The flare gun actually is cooler than the mount. That's for sure.
Yeah, the flare gun.
I mean, you can put that in your boat or car. I mean, or bug out bag or something.
Okay. Let's pick one of these. Do we want to talk about the DeSantis Roadrunner fanny pack?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are we pro fanny pack, Carrie?
No.
No? Come on. You would never know you were carrying a gun. You just had a styling fanny pack on, right?
That's not even a that's a front little marsupial pouch. A fanny pack doesn't have the straps over it.
Yeah.
Right.
It looks like a colostomy bag. If you've seen one, it looks like a colostomy bag. That's what it looks like.
Know what this looks like, and this reminds me of, and it came up on the video, the one I watched about girls in the, and this is something, I bet you, if you're a girl out there, leave a comment to tell me I'm crazy or not. So, back to girls getting with guns, they have all these gun companies like making pink guns or small guns or advertising just for females, right? But nobody really makes a purse that you could carry a gun in, and they do. But every single girl I know who's seen those purses say they're like the most hideous purses in the world, right? And they're like, look, we have this purse, and it's like, I like that the gun's in there, but it's like the ugliest thing ever. So if you had somebody out there like Tactical Tailor or something like that actually took a girl's purse, like the Coach bag or whatever purse she liked, and custom put whatever holster she had for her gun in there, you would make a fortune. Free idea for somebody who could sew. Whereas sewing machines, like, that would be the bomb. This thing's ridiculous. Nobody's going to wear this. Who thinks of this?
Right. It doesn't even look like, because when I think fanny pack, you think of one that it hooks around your waist, but you're right. This one like hooks over your beer belly, and so it's like out there even more. And then it's just goofy. It's got shoulder straps. It's like halfway between a baby carrier and a fanny pack.
It's really
I saw
bad.
somebody wearing that with, and again, in the picture, they have a guy with like sweatpants and a t-shirt, and that bag, I would think I was being robbed more than open carrying rifles.
He's a bald guy with a V-neck yellow shirt on and sweatpants. He
And
does.
he tucked the shirt into the sweatpants. Who does that? People who rob Jack in the Boxes.
I would absolutely, yeah. I mean, you know something is not right about this. Nothing about this is, like, discreet.
No.
That's why I wear rainbow stuff a lot, because nobody thinks I have a gun with me when I have a rainbow jacket on at all. Everybody has a fishing vest on.
Well, geez, I guess I won't do my fishing vest pick of the week then.
Oh, is that what you know? Do you have that for real?
And it's $40 too. Who wants to spend $40 on a fanny pack with shoulder straps?
Well, what am I doing wrong? Why can't I sell a million? If this is selling for $40, why can't
It's
I
not
sell my
selling.
cleaning kit? Okay, thanks.
It's not.
Maybe
you should contact and be like, hey, you know what would make your fanny pack better?
This
MS Clean Kit. You know?
put Skittles in it.
Call them up, be like, hey, I will sell 1 million of those things. I'll sell an MS Clean Kit, your fanny pack, and a brick of 22 LR. Those things will sell like hotcakes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that pretty much wraps up the stories for this evening. So, if you are looking for a fanny pack, Brownells may carry them. I don't know. They may. But, yeah, Brownells makes this show possible. The leading supplier of firearms, accessories, gun parts, and gunsmithing tools. You can find it all at Brownells. Please visit thisweekinguns.com/Brownells or click any of the Brownells banners on the This Week in Guns website or Firearms Radio Network website. And you can also contribute by shopping Amazon. I know you already shop Amazon. You shop Amazon, right, Nick?
Absolutely.
And
Prime
I'm sure you do.
is the best.
I'm sure you do too, Pete.
Yep. Especially when I get stuff off of Kickstarter.
And yeah, all you have to do is go to thisweekinguns.com or firearmsradio.tv, click one of the Amazon banners, and a small percentage goes to help pay for the bills here at the Firearms Radio Network.
And it doesn't cost people any extra either. You just buy it normal price.
Right. Yep. Same price, same everything. Just that we get a small percentage. So pretty cool. So pick of the week. This is where we choose a product to highlight, gun, accessory, or gadget. So I need to still fill mine in here. So Nick, why don't you go first?
All right. So I'm going to be talking about the Forest City Tactical Sheepdog. And I'll tell you what, I absolutely love this. If you are looking for an inside the waistband holder, this is it. And I'll tell you why. Now, for those that are watching that view it, this one is actually custom done for me because, well, I drove down to his place. And but the cool thing about him is I had some certain things that are done customized to me, to the way I like stuff. And he does that anyways for regular people as well. But I tell you what, this holster inside the waistband, Kydex holster, .8 Kydex. For one, it's comfortable as heck. I carry this at NRA annual meetings, so 10 miles a day or how many miles we walked every day. It's
100.
comfortable. Yeah, you can appendix carry this. You can carry it at 3 o'clock. You can carry it at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. It is
7
absolutely
o'clock,
comfortable.
10 o'clock, anytime, any o'clock.
Whatever time.
In your appendix.
And the best thing about this too is the way it's designed is you can cant it too. So if you like just a straight draw, it'll do that way, and then the design.
And you cant it?
Yes, you can. You can. Okay, yeah. You're so smart, Peter.
I want to roll.
But I'll tell you what. And here's the best part is it's $55, and it's not like he has like a stamp mold for all of his stuff. Every single holster he makes is custom to the gun you are doing. And they're absolutely fantastic. $55, and it comes with a lifetime warranty on everything on it. Anything goes wrong, the clip, the screws, the Kydex, whatever, lifetime warranty on the product. It is absolutely awesome inside the waistband holster. Check out the show notes. If you concealed carry every day like I do, and you want a gun that is highly concealable and customized the way you want it, check out Forest City Tactical.
Very cool. So, Pete, what do you have?
I have and it's kind of looks kind of basic, but it's the C Products Design AR mag. There's so many polymer mags out nowadays, and you know they do the job, and they're really great and stuff like that. But like sometimes I just prefer to have a steel mag because like I have broken P mags and stuff, and like if you break them, sometimes it's catastrophic or they don't drop free or whatever. Or like if it's a steel or aluminum or metal mag, you could kind of always bend it back and kind of keep it going if you need to. And so what I used to call them Pete mags, and I would just take a regular GI mag and then put a chrome silicon spring in there, and then like a better follower, an anti-tilt follower, a mag follower, or something like that. So these C Product Design mags, they kind of like the coat. It's black, and the coating is kind of like a Duracoat. It's like wet. I haven't, with their other ones, you have their Parkerized or whatever it is, and you can kind of, in no time, get the finish off. So I've had this one for a little bit, and there's like no part on it really at all that I see it where it's not on. It's probably like Duracoat, and it's got just the anti-tilt follower and a chrome silicon spring. So you may not like the polymer ones, and if you don't, or if you just want some of these, because I think these drop free a little faster because they don't have to be as thick because the steels are or the metals like stronger, and it's slicker too, so it'll drop free a lot faster. So also if you're in the military, they don't let you use, or at least the Marines, they don't let you use the PMag or polymer magazines. So this is a great alternative to that if you're law enforcement agency, or if you're in the military and you don't want to use the standard mags they give you that are kind of crappy. This is a great alternative to that. So C Product Defense. So.
Do you know how much they cost?
I don't know off the top of my head. I'll have to check it out. But
Is it only off their website, or are they at different retailers?
I don't know that either.
Jeez, what do you know?
I don't know. It's all in Google. We have Google nowadays in the future. I don't have to know those things.
Now? So
I know you can get them on the website, and they have not just AR mags, but mags for all different calibers and flavors and things like that. They go crazy with them. So you may not be able to get a mag for something you want in like a P mag or a polymer magazine. So you can get it off their website.
No, I was actually just looking at that. They offer 223-556, 762 by 39, 6.5 Grendel, 6.8 SPC, 545 by 39. Then they have some 9mm ones, looks like some sort of like Uzi mags or something. But they offer steel and aluminum of all those calibers, big rifle calibers that I said. So that's kind of cool. 30 and 10 rounders, it looks like.
Yeah, so I mean, polymer is good, but not everybody's allowed to use them or can use them or prefers to use them. So I probably about half. Well, I have a lot of GI mags that I transferred over and made Pete mags out of. So, but this is better because the coating on it's a lot better. So.
Very cool. So, I have something from Duluth Trading Company again this week, and it's something I had no idea even existed. It's called Small H2 Out, and what it is, it's a dehumidifier. Basically, it dehumidifies. I believe this is a small version. And so it dehumidifies an area up to 5 square feet, or I'm sorry, 5 cubic feet. So this would be perfect for one or two of these for a gun safe, maybe one. I don't know how big is an average gun safe, but anyways, it's completely passive. It's not like those dehumidifiers that you put in your gun safe and you have to plug in. This one's completely passive. And it's endlessly rechargeable. So it works for 30 to 60 days, it absorbs the humidity, and then to recharge it or whatever, you just bake it in your oven at 300 degrees or higher, and it recharges it. So, I can't hear you, Pete. What?
I said that's awesome because I have one that's like a bag, and you can only put it in. You have to put it in there for like 200 degrees or something because it's like a paper plastic bag, and so, but you have to keep it in there for like ever, and it's like I don't remember my oven's on for like 3 hours. So something that you could just throw in there and it's metal and leave it in for like at that temperature for not that long, and that's awesome.
Yeah, it says simply place H2 out in the oven for 2 to 3 hours at 300 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's awesome.
It says the pink will disappear and turn blue again. So apparently it turns pink when it's out.
Yes, I have another one that does that too, but it's like like I said, in the bag, and you can't turn up that high a temperature, and it takes a lot longer.
Yeah, and this is, I mean, solid. I mean, it's made out of really pretty solid steel, and it's only $25. So I mean, use it forever. You really can't beat that deal. It's made in the USA. I'm loving it. I'm gonna get a few more for different gun cabinets and safes I have, but highly recommend the small H2 out, and it's at Duluth Trading Company. So I have a direct link in the show notes for this week's show.
Cool.
So yeah, we're gonna wrap things up here. So Pete, MS Clean, how are things going?
Things are going all right. I'm talking to some companies that I met. Some are taking longer than others. We'll see how it goes. I need one good company to bite, and we'll see how it goes. And I'm sure I can get more after that. But you can go to Brownells and ask for it. They don't want to carry it. So if you go there and ask for it, maybe they'll be like, "Hey, a lot of you people keep asking for this kit. We should."
Hey, I think you need to check out Remington.
I know.
They've had a lot of failures. Maybe this can be their comeback.
Huh? Well, I mean, they do own, the Freedom Group does own DPMS, Bushmaster, and AAC, all of which are making ARs. So, but they already have all their cleaning stuff like that. So I doubt they'll require my services. So they'll probably know. But we'll see. Maybe they could use the cases. Who knows?
So where can I buy an MS Clean kit today?
You can go to my website, www.mscleankits.com. You could Google
Do you have
it.
any survival kits or anything like that yet?
No, not yet. As soon as that's our next step, is probably the first aid kits and then the survival kits, because there's so many different parts in a survival kit, and so many people have different reasons or parts, things they want to put in it. So we sell the empty cases if you want to fill it with your own stuff. So.
Well, I will tell you this. I have one, and you guys just need, right now, you go to, it's mscleankits.com, right?
Yep.
Give this guy your money, because they are absolutely worth it. I absolutely love mine. Before the show we talked about, I had a competition shoot today, and I took it with me. It is just an absolutely awesome, awesome product. Go give this guy your money. All of it.
Please. Yeah.
Very cool. I'll have a link in the show notes for anything like this we talk about. You can check it out. So, Nick, Practically Tactical, what is up?
Well, we're still on the network, so that's always a bonus. We were a little worried for a while.
Didn't that? Oh, that email is still in my outgoing box.
No, man, I'll tell you what, it's been. It has been really good, and especially the last month or so has been really, really good to us. We pick up a lot of new people out there, so it seems like people are liking the show. I got some big names coming up. I don't want to drop who yet, but I don't know. We got some really good shows coming up, changing up a few different things as we learn this podcasting thing, and but I don't know. It's going good. Check us out at Practically Tactical Podcast, part of the Firearms Radio Network, and I think you'll have a good time. Pete's been on a couple times. We'll have him back again soon.
Yeah.
So practacpodcast.com or firearmsradio.tv, and just look for the Practically Tactical logo and click on that.
Yep. Or search Practically Tactical on Facebook, and there's a link to practacpodcast.com.
Very cool. So thanks so much, guys, for helping out. That about wraps it up. You can leave your feedback by commenting on the bottom of this YouTube video or the bottom of the show notes, which are at thisweekinguns.com/069 for this week's episode. And has all the links, all the news stories that we talked about, even the ones we didn't get to. So please leave us an iTunes review, thisweekinguns.com/iTunes. And don't forget to contribute to the show by shopping our Brownells and Amazon affiliates. Just click any of the banners on the website before you shop next time. And yeah, check out the other shows on the Firearms Radio Network, like Practically Tactical or the AR, excuse me, AR-15 podcast, who have, they've just recently had a whole slew of really great guests, like Marty Daniel of Daniel Defense, what Joshua, I think it's Joshua Walden. Forgive me if I got your name wrong. Of Silencer Co. Many awesome interviews, more to come. And yeah, check it out, AR15podcast.com. Well, that's a wrap, and we'll see you next week.